We're going to turn to the press review, and we're joined in the studio by Emily Boyle. Emily, you're going to be starting us off with Australian front pages today. What do you have for us?
Well, pretty much all the Australian front pages have the same story this morning. Today, let's start with the Australian. They have this headline: Iran attacks us. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has accused Iran of coordinating two anti-Semitic terror attacks in Australia last year. One on the Adas Israel Synagogue in Melbourne and the other on Lewis's Continental Kitchen in Sydney. Now, the paper says there is credible information to suggest that Iran's Islamist regime used a web of spies to launch the attacks in the hopes of undermining social cohesion. The West Australian paper here calls it Iran's act of war and the most dangerous example of foreign interference in Australian history. The paper quotes both the Prime Minister and the Director of National Security on their front page. He says that although only 2 attacks have been linked to Tehran so far, there could be many more. The Canberra Times taking a slightly different angle today. They're looking at the expulsion of the Iranian ambassador. They also discuss Australia's suspension of their operations in their embassies in Tehran. The Australian government has also said it will add the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to its list of terror organisations. Now, Iran has rejected the allegations and vowed to reciprocate, but we'll just have to wait and see how that story evolves.
Yes, we will have to wait and see. Meanwhile, in the UK, the papers seem to be picking up on Nigel Farage's migration plan.
Yeah, most of the British front pages also covering Farage's speech yesterday. The Daily Express here summing it up with one quote: "I will deport 600,000 illegal migrants." The right-wing politician unveiled his Operation Restoring Justice, a migration plan he pledges to execute if he becomes Prime Minister. Now, this article says that Farage wants to copy Donald Trump's mass deportation program by ordering immigration enforcement teams to carry out raids across the country. The Daily Mirror voicing their outrage on their front page: "Britain is better than this." This is a quote taken from their opinion piece by Paul Routledge. The Mirror's political editor traces back the history of right-wing politicians playing the migration card. The Telegraph also covering this story, but with a slightly unexpected headline: "Taliban to give Farage deal on migrants." The Reform leader has suggested sending people back to Afghanistan, and the article says that the Taliban have declared themselves ready and willing to work with Farage. The Reform leader would have to leave the European Court of Human Rights, though, to reach his deportation targets.
We're going to France now, where actor Dany Boon is expected to take part in an unusual trial after being scammed by a con artist. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, this isn't a Netflix documentary yet, but it definitely should be, and I expect it to be one very, very soon. This is an article in The Guardian: "The French film star, the fake Irish aristocrat, and the missing €7 million. Dany Boon heading to court then after being scammed by a con artist posing as a fake Irish aristocrat. Boon was convinced to enter deals worth millions to renovate his yacht, as well as invest in bogus schemes in the Irish Central Bank. Now, the con man was arrested in Panama in February 2024 after an international manhunt, and that trial is set to start in September. We'll have to keep you up to date with those developments.
Please do. We're staying in the world of celebrities because we have some slightly happier news, which is getting a lot of coverage today. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have become engaged. Tell us more.
Yes, exactly. Perhaps the closest thing the Americans will get to a royal wedding, and creating quite a stir. This is the story of Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift getting married to Travis Kelce. This headline in The Sun: "Look what you made me, I do." A quite awkward take on one of her songs there. Needless to say that the jaw-dropping announcement has left many gobsmacked, and not least this reporter on CBS. That's the face she made when she discovered the news seconds before going live on air. Now, that might have broken this reporter, but it also broke the internet, and The Guardian brings us details about that. No need to calm down, it says. The Instagram post captioned, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married," reached 14 million likes in just an hour and has become the most shared post in Instagram's history. The dress Taylor wore in the photos sold out in just 20 minutes after the news hit, and reactions poured in from millions across the world, including Donald Trump and Shrek. Now, the Washington Post is looking at their obsession the ring, her dress, his shorts, the subheading reads, and the ring in particular is grabbing a lot of attention. People magazine have this article here taking a closer look at the massive and deeply meaningful engagement ring. The 8-carat ring is valued at around $500,000.
Wow, yeah, that's not a ring you would want to slip off your finger. I love how you said that Shrek had sent them their well wishes and with a very serious face. What did he say? What did Shrek say?
I don't know, I think it was just well wishes, but talking about not slipping off fingers, this brings me to my last slightly sneaky article here in CBC. A couple managed to find their engagement ring after it slipped off their finger into this pile of rubbish. Not quite as glamorous, but I think quite romantic in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're very happy about that. Emily, thank you so much for that. Emily taking us through the front pages this morning. Stay with